ICHP Nation, we are sitting down here with head women's wrestling coach Tucker Black as we preview the 2021-2022 season, the second season of women's wrestling here at William Penn. And Coach, I'm sure you've learned a lot since last time we sat, maybe not here, but in my office, talking about a season preview. So let's recap that inaugural year and we can talk a little bit about what you learned.
Yeah, wow, kind of like look back on last year with nostalgia now, and also a lot of regret. I think, one of the biggest hindrances in our success last year was just the late start. Yeah. There's so much learning that was done just by competition and getting out on the road. So, wishing we could have got started earlier last year, but all in all, we finished the season with 2 girls, and in the round of 12, we had an additional girl get second at conference, lost on criteria to a national finalist, had 2 third-place finishers at conference. So we were there. We had the talent by the end of the season. Yeah. This year, I think we brought in some good additions to that talent. So yeah.
Yeah. Recruiting wise, how did it change? I guess both in maybe where you were looking, but also how you pitched your team. Now that you're like, okay, now I know what our program it looks like. I mean, it's hopefully coming along to where you wanted it to be, but were you able to recruit better? I mean, now you understood better the recruiting process too.
I think it gave me a whole lot of confidence in recruiting. I think it, to be honest, gave me more. It gave me confidence in my ability to get these girls where they needed to be. Right. And that was just a major pitch out on the recruiting trail, is stick to the plan, and we're going to get you where you need to be by the end of each season and by the end of your career. Right.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Obviously, a handful. We were able to retain. You worked a lot during the off season, and then let's break it down. Then let's start at the lowest weight and go up. So if I'm remembering right, 109.
109 is where we're going to start.
I was going to say 106.
No, you're fine.
109.
So actually, there is a 101 weight class.
101, I'm sorry.
We're not going to be able to fill 101 this year. And that's just, it's really hard to find a 101 pounder in America right now. And we're definitely working on that for next year's lineup, but I also foresee maybe some changes happening there. 109.
Different weight classes.
Yeah.
I no longer maybe having a 101. Yeah.
I would foresee some changes. Don't know what those would look like yet.
Right.
109, we start with BRITTANY COTTER. She was one of our highest ranked recruits out of Texas. Just really excited for BRITTANY because she's a hard worker. She's super coachable, wants to learn more, wants to be pushed hard, and I'm just thrilled to watch her do her thing. And I also think it's going to be something where she progresses a lot through her college career. Yeah. Being forced to change a little bit from high school to college. Really excited to see what she's going to do there.
Okay.
116, we're going to have a couple girls there. I think the 2 towards the top right now would be Catherine STEINKAMP and ALEXIS HOPPE. Alexis is coming back from injury, so she'll be probably a little bit late start, but Catherine's a tough girl, coach's daughter, so she knows how to work and do things right. So I think she'll have a bright future. Another one that's going to continue making those gains. 123, we've got 2 plenty talented girls there. Mommy Salimani this year is just for as good as she looked at the end of last year. She's made some huge gains, and you can see it in her demeanor in the wrestling room. You can see it in her eyes when she's competing, that she's got a little bit more swagger. Yeah. She's got more confidence in positioning on the mat where she's at. So I'm really excited to see what she's gonna do. And then we're gonna we'll have a freshman, LYDIA Nelson, in there some. Probably gonna rotate those 2 in and out because one will go up to 130. Yeah. But Lydia's a tough girl, and another one that she's gritty. And she's never going to be out of matches. Up to 130, I mentioned probably bumping one of those two up.
Depending on how the
during
lineup
duels.
obviously looks in the.
Yeah. And then we also have Gwendolyn Grimes from Houston, Texas, as well, that will drop down from 36 to make 30. She'll be at 130 for tournaments, and I anticipate 136 for duels,
Sure.
Unless something else should change.
Right, right.
And Gwen is fun. I think she's going to be somebody that, yeah, I mean, I give her a hard time when she tries to go for me in practice and misses, but you know, she's a good girl, and I'm excited to see her experience and knowledge be put to work.
Okay.
143. We'll see where it goes. I think we've got a couple freshmen. Maybe our most exciting freshman, you know, talent-wise, ASHLEIGH Denny. I anticipate to start the year being our starter there, and she's kind of banged up right now, so she's not going to be there for the first tournament or so. But Ashley's just a hard worker, tenacious. She's got a whole lot of talent, but also needs some more experience. So I think she's someone that we're going to see blossom by the end of the season and into the following years. And then could also see someone like Emerald RAYA drop down from 55 to 43 once she's fully healthy. And then MAYLEE Edwards, she can make 143. I don't know if that's going to be her best spot.
Right, sure.
But she's somebody that I think fairly well trained in high school and can make some noise over time.
Yeah.
So overall, 143 will be, there's just a weight that will make time will tell.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
A
who
lot
ends
of
up shining.
potential depth though.
That is, yeah. We're excited to see that way. 155, SALIMA OMARI returning. I'm excited to see. Last year she came into the season with 4 total matches in her wrestling career, and ended up, having a pretty good season.
Definitely.
I think she's another one that's walking around with a little bit more confidence this year. She's just worked so hard on mat awareness, and she's really the workhorse of the team, and I can rely on her to always show up, have her work boots strapped up, ready to go.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned MAYLEE and RAYA as possible options there.
Sure.
2 other girls I think that I more anticipate seeing at 170 would be TOYIA GRIFFIN and ANDREA Smith. They both have the option to bump down to 155. I would see them filling that 170-pound spot.
Yeah, it's a big gap there.
Yeah, and due to depth and how the lineup shakes out, I think they'll fit in at 170, and I think both of them have some unique talents and gifts that they'll bring, and we'll just kind of see how things shake out at the end of the year for who we end up sending to conference and nationals. So there's 70. Then finally at 191, I think this would definitely be our deepest weight. Samantha RUANO returns, and she's somebody that the wheels started turning and things started clicking at the end of the year. So I'm just excited to see her build more confidence. And then 2 freshmen, KYLIE Martin and PHOEBE BURT, will be there as well once they get down to weight, and I think either of them could really do some damage down the road, just with more experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the schedule now. It's obviously a lot bigger because we're not in a COVID year. You're allowed to compete a little bit more, and there's going to be hopefully getting out and seeing really where the team kind of fits in nationally. So let's talk about some of the highlighted events.
Yeah, so I went into making the schedule with the plan of I want to get broad competitions. So we're going to start off at Wisconsin Stevens Point, try to wrestle some NCAA schools, get some opponents that we're not going to see very often during the year, and that'll be a good way to start off the season. Follow that up with the Waldorf University Open, then go down to the Missouri Valley Open, both of those being tournaments heavily populated with NAIA teams,
and teams within our conference.
Yeah, teams that we're going to see throughout the year. that'll be a kind of good measuring stick to see where we're starting. And you know, both of those tournaments feature a 235 open weight class. We'll see you know, Phoebe wrestle 235 there, and maybe Kylie as well, just depending on how things work out. We get our first dual in at Hastings. That's another up and coming program. I think had a pretty similar year to us last year. So I'm excited to see what their coach has brought in for the second year and get our girls first dual competition. Indian Hills again, December 7th at home. That's going to be a big night. We want to bring in the community and our students for the last home event before Christmas break. You know, we had a crossover practice with them last week, and I think that was really good for our girls to go out and strap it up against some unfamiliar faces. And you know, we're excited to welcome them back in.
Yeah, for sure. Then
after Christmas, we have a non-conference at Midland, and then we go into the conference season with Grandview, Central Methodist, Baker. Go back over to Indian Hills for the co-ed clash, which will be at their place this time. And then we finish up with McKendree Open, another place we're going to see lots of NCAA schools. Grandview Open, going to see some other NAIA schools that we don't typically wrestle against, and then go on to the postseason.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about where the team is now versus where you want them to be in, you know, I guess 4 months basically, when it's you know, time for postseason, and what's it going to take to get there?
Yeah.
It's a lot of questions.
No, it's a good question though, because I was just writing this down on my whiteboard and trying to figure out where we want to be the other day. I think right now, all over the board. We've got girls that are ready to compete at a pretty high level. You know, obviously a long way away from their peak, but girls that are wrestling at a high level. We got girls that are banged up, just not used to college wrestling yet. And we got girls that are making slow progress, but still a long way away from where we want them to be. Come conference tournament time, want to see, you know, 10, 12 girls that are seasoned, that control the center of the mat, that can, you know, put the gas pedal down when needed, and also control the pace, and depending on, you know, regardless of who the opponent is. And then finally, we want girls that can hand fight hard and get turns on top. And if we can do those two things and control the center of the mat, we're going to win a lot of matches. So yeah, that's what we've been focusing on, and that's what we're going to continue to focus on.
Yeah, obviously a lot of you know, mental work being done, especially when you have so many freshmen. You know, what else, I guess, final question, I mean, because key to success of getting those freshmen, and obviously your sophomores who are still really young. I mean, they just only had really kind of the 3/4 of a year last year, getting them to where, you know, they need to be.
Yeah, I think we're really lucky that our returners are doing such a good job leading the team. They're stepping up, being vocal when needed. They're showing the freshmen how it's supposed to be done. We also got a bunch of girls that they get along well, so we're lucky to have that. But the mental adjustments needed are just going to be, you know, willing to get in a pit and fight. And that's the adjustment that you got to make going into college wrestling. So getting these girls ready to fight and willing to fight, and confidence in their ability to toe the line and land the bigger punch.
For sure.
So to speak.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, no punches.
Yeah.
All right. Well, once again, head women's wrestling coach Tucker Black. We're getting ready for the second season, our first real